Hi there. Welcome to Imagine 80, Remember Lennon. This is Charles Rosenay from Liverpool Productions. Some of you might already know me. For those of you who don't, I've been a Beatles convention producer and festival organizer since the late 70s. I published a magazine called Good Day Sunshine, and I also host and organize the Beatle tours to Liverpool for Americans since 1983. Tonight we're presenting a very special program celebrating John Lennon's 80th birthday. This was originally going to be a live event. In 2010, we did a similar event for John's 70th birthday. In 2015, we did one for his 75th birthday. We expected to do it again in 2020 for his 80th birthday, but then COVID hit and we couldn't do a live event of it. So we changed it to a stream. Unfortunately, we got a cease and desist lawyer's letter, which maybe I'll reach you, I'm not sure, and said that we can't stream John Lennon's music globally over this type of a format without permission. We asked for permission, we didn't get it. We asked to donate the money to charity. They said no. We asked to move the date every possible way. So we've changed the format of the event. Instead of a live concert, trying to recreate what might have been a John Lennon actual concert event, what we have now is celebrities, rock stars, Beatle people, friends of the Beatles, Beatles family, all coming through and giving their greetings, their messages on John's 80th birthday. Sit back, enjoy this on whatever device you're looking at. Hopefully you'll have a few laughs. Hopefully you'll have a few smiles, maybe a few tears as we remember John through the eyes of these very special guests. John Lennon's sister Julia has written several books about her half-brother, and she is the honorary president of the reopened Strawberry Field in Liverpool, where she is a principal of the famed Cavern Club and an ambassador to Beatle fans worldwide.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Charles, for inviting me to join in this virtual forum now that we can't do you can't do your live event. And I'm here as John Lennon's sister to wish John, of course, a very, would you say happy birthday, that it is John's birthday. But what would do is to invite you all, with myself, to sort of make this day our birthday just for today. So for the 9th of October, let's all have a birthday. I hope you enjoy everything that's going on around the event. I'm sure Charles has fabulous things lined up. So happy birthday, John. Thank you.
Gary Van Sciac is a world-class bassist, best known for his work with John Lennon's backing live band, Elephant's Memory. He can be seen in the Lennon Live in New York City music video, and he has been a fan favorite for years.
Hi, this is Gary Van Sciac from the Plastic Ono Elephant's Memory Band, remembering John on what would have been his 80th birthday.
Leon Wildes has been one of the most respected lawyers on the East Coast. He became friends with John Lennon while acting as his immigration attorney, fighting for the right to live in New York. His insider book about that legal battle, which of course he ultimately won, was titled John Lennon versus the USA. Sei gesinnt, Leon.
This is Leon Wildes, a dear friend of John Lennon's, sending you his best personal wishes and regards, and hoping that you miss him as much as I do today. John was a wonderful, close friend, and there is no question about it. This is a sad day for friends of John Lennon. We miss him a lot.
Marshall Crenshaw may be best known to some Beatle fans for his portrayal as John Lennon in Beatlemania or as Buddy Holly in the film La Bamba, but the singer, musician, actor is also well known for his own recording career, including his 1982 top 40 hit, Someday, Some Way.
Marshall Crenshaw here, and I'd like to give an 80th birthday shout out to John Lennon, one of the great heroes of my youth, without a doubt. just last night on YouTube, I was watching some unedited footage from Magical Mystery Tour, the part where he's a waiter and he's shoveling the spaghetti onto the plate with an actual shovel. If I had $1 for every time John Lennon made me laugh, I'm sure I'd have at least a couple $1,000s from that. Anyway, yeah, he's in my head somewhere always, I guess you could say. And that's it.
Mitch Weissman has written songs with Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley from Kiss. He's acted on the TV show Joni Loves Chachi, but fans will always know him as the original Paul McCartney in Beatlemania when it was on Broadway and beyond. Much of the success of that show can be attributed to his sound and certainly his look.
Hi, everyone. Mitch Weissman here. Thinking of John on what would have been his 80th birthday.
At the young age of 5, Tony was a friend and schoolmate of Paul McCartney and George Harrison. Tony Bramwell was a roadie for them for years before he became an executive at Apple. He is the author of Magical History Tours, My Life with the Beatles.
Hi, it's Tony Bramwell here. Just thinking of John and what would have been his 80th birthday. He was a good man. Cheers, have a good celebration.
Ruth McCartney is Paul McCartney's stepsister, but has been in the music and entertainment field most of her life as a singer, songwriter, producer, and CEO. There are some awesome photos of Ruth with Paul taken by Linda McCartney.
Hello, I'm Ruth McCartney from McCartneyMultimedia.com, and I knew John Lennon growing up. In fact, he taught me how to ride a bicycle, which is not just actually the physical act of doing it, but it's the metaphor for if you get knocked off, get up and try again. So thank you, Charles Rosenay, for inviting my mum Angie and I to say a quick happy, heavenly 80th birthday to our John Winston. You are missed.
Angie McCartney is a young and vibrant 91-year-old Liverpudlian. She was married to Paul McCartney's dad, Jim, until he passed away in 1976. Mrs. McCartney's Teas is her famous brand of teas, and a portion of the proceeds benefit the Linda McCartney Breast Cancer Center.
Hello folks, this is Angie McCartney of Mrs. McCartney's Teas, wishing John Lennon, bless him, a very happy, heavenly 80th birthday. God bless you, John. We love you.
Leslie Cavendish was a hairdresser to the stars in Britain. His 2017 book was titled The Cutting Edge, the story of the Beatles' hairdresser who defined an era.
Happy birthday, John. Everyone's still always thinking of you. Take care and keep on rocking. Peace and love.
Charlie Roberts was a young guy when he organized the Rosebery Street Party in Liverpool. Performing that day was the Quarrymen with John Lennon. Charlie took the most historic photo of John's first live appearance as a musician there. The photo here is autographed by the surviving Quarrymen. Charlie and his wife Sandy are regulars at the Liverpool Beatles convention during Beatle Week.
Yeah. Happy birthday, John. We've grown old together.
I'd just like to say, obviously, we all wish he was still here, but we've got our memories and we've got all his music to, to keep us all going.
Mark McGann is best known to fans for his lead role in 1985's NBC film John and Yoko, A Love Story. He has been on the British stage, screen, and also TV for many years, including the show Blood Brothers. He continues to perform and occasionally brings John back to life in live concert performances.
A towering presence profoundly missed in a world still struggling to come to terms with his absence. Happy 80th birthday, Johnny. Thank you for everything you've done for us all.
Daniel Richter was an actor who worked and actually lived with John and Yoko, heading up Joko Films. He directed the photography for the 1972 Imagine video, and in 2012 published a memoir of his time and his life with John and Yoko titled The Dream Is Over.
Hey, John, happy birthday. I miss you a lot, man. Happy birthday.
Steve Holley is one of the world's most respected rock and roll drummers, both in the studio and at live gigs. He is best known to fans as Paul McCartney's drummer in Wings, and he was also the touring drummer for Mott the Hoople with Ian Hunter.
Hi everybody, Steve Holley here in New York City. I hope everyone's doing well. I just want to say happy birthday, John, wherever you may be. You'll live in our hearts and our minds forever. Fly on.
While Steve Holley was hitting the skins, Laurence Juber was plucking the strings, and a whole lot more. He played lead guitar for Paul McCartney in Wings from 1978 to 1981, and he has released many critically acclaimed solo albums, including LJ Plays the Beatles.
Hey, Laurence Juber here. This goes out to all you Beatle fans on what would have been John's 80th birthday.
Billy J. Kramer was managed by Brian Epstein, and during the mid-60s peak of the British invasion, Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas had hit after hit, including some that were written by Lennon and McCartney. His biography was titled Do You Want to Know a Secret? Billy continues to tour and record.
This is Billy J. Kramer. I will always be eternally grateful for all the help you gave me when I was starting off. Happy birthday, John.
Bob Gruen is a renowned rock and roll photographer who may forever be remembered for his iconic shots of John wearing his sleeveless white New York City shirt. He has released numerous books, including Listen to These Pictures and John Lennon, The New York Years.
Hi, I'm Bob Gruen, and I wish my friend John Lennon were here today to celebrate his 80th birthday with us. But since he's not here, I'd like to remind his fans to please go in peace, live in peace, and imagine peace. Thanks.
Vera and Gordon Brown were there when it all began. They were friends of the Beatles in their early days, and they were actually in-laws of Beatles promoter Sam Leach. That's Vera and Gordon on the far left in this photo with Paul, George, John, and Pete Best. And here's another vintage shot of Vera with George and Paul. Vera just got home from the hospital after getting the coronavirus. She's doing well, but instead of a video, in this case, we have an audio.
If John Lennon would be 80. He was such a character. And I remember at a party you go, and then...
Oh, I can't forget some of the parties. We had beehive hairstyles and he cracked eggs all over the back of our heads and we didn't know all night.
John, one final...
Goodbye from Liverpool and for all your fans.
And there'll never be another time like it. John, we miss you.
Love you.
Hope and love you, and hope that now, as you look down at us from heaven, you'll appreciate that we
love you so
much. Bye, John.
Goodbye, John. Goodbye, John.
Miss Odell was a 1973 song by George Harrison about none other than Chris Odell, who worked at Apple and was a friend of the guys, and perhaps even more. She was part of the Hey Jude video and even wrote a book, Miss Odell.
Hi, this is Chris Odell, thinking of John on his 80th birthday. Wish he was still here.
Brute Force was the stage name for Stephen Friedland, who was a member of the Tokens before he was a recording artist at Apple Records. His one and only single on the Beatles label was titled King of Fa. And most of you know or can guess what that means and why John Lennon loved it so much.
Hi, this is Brute Force, the King of Fa, thinking of John Lennon on what would have been his magnificent 80th birthday. Well, happy birthday, John.
Before the Beatles, John Lennon fronted a group called the Quarrymen. Members included Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Stu Sutcliffe, and other Liverpool musicians. One of those was Len Garry, who was in that original band which played on the Rosebery Street stage in the photo we saw earlier. He wrote a book called John, Paul, and Me Before the Beatles, and we get to see him and his family every year at the Liverpool Beatles convention during Beatle Week.
My name's Len Garry. I was a buddy of John's in the 50s, and of course eventually became a member of the Quarrymen playing the tea-chest bass. Just remember it would have been John's 80th birthday. So many fond memories of John. Bye.
Rod Davis was another original member of the Quarrymen. He played with them from 1956 to about mid-1957, right alongside John Lennon, but he was replaced in the band by none other than Paul McCartney. The Quarrymen reunited in 1997 with original members, and he's been playing guitar with them, well, right till now.
Hi Beatles fans, my name's Rod Davis and I was the banjo player in John's schoolboy skiffle group, Quarrymen, in the mid-50s. We got the group back together in 1997 and we've been playing together ever since. We've just returned from Germany where we've been playing at a celebration for John's 80th birthday, and we know that there'll be plenty more celebrations happening on the 9th. We had a great gig in New York for John's 70th with Pete Seeger and Tom Paxton and Neil Innes, amongst others. If only John himself had been there to play on stage with us, I'm sure he would have loved it. This time, however, COVID is making life difficult for us to get together and celebrate, but obviously we'll be thinking about John and his music, as the rest of us Quarrymen are also looking forward to our 80th birthdays in the very near future. So it's greetings from the Quarrymen to all the Lennon and Beatles fans everywhere. Have a great time listening to John's music on his birthday. Happy birthday, John.
Michael Hill from Liverpool was a boyhood friend of John Lennon's. He also credits himself with influencing John in getting into music. Here is his message with thanks to David Bedford.
I'm thinking of John Lennon on what would have been his 80th birthday. I celebrated my 80th birthday just last week. I grew up with John Lennon and we were at school together for 12 years, mostly in the same class. And we used to sit together at the back of the classroom. He was always fun to be with, always joking and disrupting the class, always up to mischief. We were especially close friends during our teenage years, mid-teens particularly. And that's when he and his best friend, Pete Shotton, used to come regularly to my house and listen to my record collection, and we used to listen and sing to the records. I like to think that that's where John first discovered that he enjoyed singing. And one record in particular made John Lennon decide that he wanted to become a musician himself, and he often spoke about that. In fact, he used to give me credit for having triggered his decision to become a musician. That was when we were age 15. I still miss John Lennon, and I wish we could have celebrated our 80th birthdays together. All my precious memories of John I put into a book. It's been very well received, and it's titled John Lennon, The Boy Who Became a Legend. Miss you, John.
Nancy Lee Andrews is a former model who became a well-known photographer and nearly became Ringo's second wife. She was engaged to Ringo Starr and later released a book of her photos called A Dose of Rock and Roll.
Hi, Nancy Lee Andrews here. I'm remembering John. It's going to be his 80th birthday, and I wish he was here for it. Love you, miss you, and if you were here, we'd be rocking and a-rolling.
Gregg Bissonette played drums for David Lee Roth, Toto, and Santana before he started playing alongside a certain other drummer by the name of Ringo Starr. He has been a member of Ringo Starr's all-star band for a while now, and he's as big a fan as we are. He teaches drums and presents some of the best drum clinics in the world.
Hey everyone, it's Gregg Bissonette here. I just want to say hi and send a big shout out to John Lennon's 80th birthday. Hope you're all well and peace and love.
Singer Tommy Roe topped the charts with such hits as Dizzy, Jam Up and Jelly Tight, Sheila, Hooray for Hazel, and Sweet Pea. He also toured on the same bill with John, Paul, George, and Ringo when they first came to America.
Hey, Beatle fans, this is Tommy Rowe here, and this is my pal Ruby. I just wanted to reach out and wish my old pub buddy John a happy heavenly 80th birthday. Happy birthday, John. I know you're up there rocking. Say goodbye, Ruby. So long.
Dan Dannemann was the lead singer of the Cyrkle, an American band that had hits in the mid-60s such as Red Rubber Ball and Turn Down Day. They were discovered by the Beatles' U.S. attorney Nat Weiss and were managed by Brian Epstein. It was John Lennon who came up with the spelling of their name. They were one of the Beatles' opening acts in 1966.
This is Don Dannemann of the Cyrkle, and I'm so proud and lucky to have been with the Beatles on their last tour in 1966 across the whole country, wanting to wish John a really happy 80th. John, we miss you.
Now there's an amazing picture of Pattie Boyd, Cynthia Lennon, Maureen Starkey, and Jenny Boyd. Jenny was Pattie's younger sister, a professional model. A friend of the Beatles accompanied them when they went to visit the Maharishi in India and has written a couple of books. She was Jennifer Juniper.
My name's Jenny Boyd. We celebrate your birth date with every year. We celebrate your life, but especially this one. Happy birthday, John.
Singer, songwriter, musician Tommy James has sold over 100 million copies of records worldwide. His hits include Mony Mony, Hanky Panky, Crimson and Clover, Crystal Blue Persuasion, I Think We're Alone Now, and so many more. He's a great guy, and he's still rocking.
Hi, everybody. Tommy James here. And I would just like to acknowledge what would have been the 80th birthday of John Lennon, of whom I have been a fan all this time. It's hard to believe it's been 40 years since he was taken from us, and I really miss him. Well, I guess my favorite John Lennon story has to be the night I met him. It was at a BMI dinner where they give the awards every year for hit records. And this was 1971, and John was sitting directly behind me at the big round banquet tables they have, right next to Yoko, who came with him. And we started up a conversation and exchanged compliments. I don't mind saying I was very starstruck. And so that is my favorite memory of John. He's a very nice guy, and we talked music for about 10 minutes. So on behalf of his friends and fans, I just want to say happy heavenly birthday, John Lennon.
Another great guy is Gary Puckett. The lead singer of Gary Puckett and the Union Gap had one of the most distinct voices of the late 60s, with such hits as Young Girl, Woman, Woman, Over You, Lady Willpower, and others. It's reported that they sold more records in 1968 than the Beatles. That year, Gary Puckett recorded a cover of Lady Madonna, and he's still out there recording and touring.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Puckett, and I am here to remember John Lennon on his 80th birthday. What would he be doing now?
Mary Wilson is a founding member of the best charting female group in history, the Supremes. This rock and roll Hall of Famer had too many hits to mention, but she's also an author, an activist, a motivational speaker, and a former U.S. cultural ambassador. When the Supremes toured England, she hung around with the Beatles quite a lot. She recently appeared on Dancing with the Stars, and she's as beautiful as ever, inside and out.
Hi, this is Mary Wilson. And as I sit here, during this pandemic, I'm thinking of all of my friends and people who've gone on to heaven. So we can't say wishing them a happy birthday, but John Lennon would have been 80 today. So why don't we just say, wherever you are in this universe, John, we love you and your music.
Ron Dante was the lead singer of the Archies, yes, Sugar Sugar, and the voice of numerous singing commercials. He was also a producer on Barry Manilow's first 9 albums. He currently sings with the Turtles on the Happy Together tours.
Hi, this is Ron Dante wishing John Lennon a very happy birthday in heaven today.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Dennis Dunaway rocked the world as the original bassist in the Alice Cooper Band and as composer of some of their best-known songs, including School's Out. He wrote a book of his memoirs in 2015, and he still tours with his band Blue Coupe.
Hi, this is Dennis Dunaway of Alice Cooper and Blue Coupe. Here I am in the lobby of the Hard Day's Night Hotel in Liverpool. I stayed in the John Lennon suite. To let you know how cool that was, it had a white baby grand piano. I love John. I'm going to play In My Life now, which is my favorite song that he wrote. Love and peace, everybody.
As a child, Butch Patrick played Eddie in the Munsters. Who can forget that Munsters episode where the Standells played I Want to Hold Your Hand? Reportedly, the Beatles liked the Munsters. Undoubtedly, Butch Patrick loved the Beatles, and he was one of the country's foremost Beatle collectors. Interestingly enough, George Harrison's sister Louise wrote the foreword for Butch Patrick's Eddie Munster book.
Hey John, Butch here. Butch Patrick from the Munsters, actually. Huge fan of all of your work, the entire body, but everybody thinks of the Beatles. But for me, it's always going to be the Plastic Ono Band. Thank you very much. Happy birthday.
Bobby Hart is much more closely associated with the Monkees than the Beatles, having written many of their classic hits with Tommy Boyce. Boyce and Hart, on their own, had 3 top 40 hits, and Bobby has written a book with another one on the way.
It's Bobby Hart here. John, we're thinking about you on what would have been your 80th birthday. You entertained the world, and you inspired us all.
Ian Lloyd was the lead singer of The Stories, who had a #1 hit in 1973 with the song Brother Louie. He performed at several Beatles music festivals and also at NYC Fab 50, which was the Beatles' 50th anniversary event in New York in 2014.
Hi, this is Ian Lloyd Stories, Brother Louie. Hey John, happy 80th. Rock lives, so do you. In our hearts, I'm right behind you. Rock on. Peace.
Ken Evans was the drummer for and founding member of the Fifth Estate. They were best known for their hit Ding Dong, The Witch is Dead, which charted during the Summer of Love in 1967. They appeared on Hullabaloo when Brian Epstein hosted the show, and the Beatles' manager had considered signing the band.
Hi, this is Ken Evans, drummer of the Fifth Estate. We hope you remember our tune Ding Dong, The Witch is Dead, which was released the month prior to Sgt. Pepper. Today we remember John Lennon on what would have been his 80th birthday.
Billy Hinchy had hits in the 60s as 1/3 of Dino, Desi, and Billy, with Dean Martin's son Dino and Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball's son Desi. They were on the cover of many teen magazines, along with the Beatles in the 60s. Billy went on to be part of the Beach Boys family. He continues to play and even does an online weekly live stream.
Hello, I'm Billy Hinchy of Dino, Desi, and Billy and the Beach Boys. And I sincerely wanted to wish John a happy birthday and thank him for his incredible contributions to music and his efforts in regards to seeking peace for everyone. Happy birthday, John.
Phil Fang Volk also shared many covers of teen magazines with the Beatles as the bass player for Paul Revere and the Raiders. In the 60s, Playboy magazine had a list of favorite rock and roll bassists, and of course Paul McCartney was #1, while Phil was right behind him at #2. Phil Volk still plays and records and just released an anthology of his music called Rocker.
Hi, I'm Phil Fang Volk, formerly of Paul Revere and the Raiders, and I'm glad I have a moment to just give a shout out to a great songwriter, musician, and someone that really inspired me, John Lennon. And I bet you if he were here today, he'd still be writing great music, even at 80 years old. And you know, something I found out that kind of brought a smile to my heart. When they moved his stuff out of the Dakota apartment in New York, and they moved out that jukebox that he had in there, and they took the records out, wow, I found out that he had 2 Raider records in his jukebox. So you know what? It kind of makes me feel good that he was kind of digging our music too, as much as I was digging his.
Mark Hudson's credits can go on forever, as can his personality. This guy was also as big a fan as you can get. He is a singer, songwriter, musician, producer, and TV personality who rose to fame as one-third of the Hudson brothers. He wrote Aerosmith's Living on the Edge and was Ringo's producer for 10 years, a decade that gave us 9 Ringo albums.
I'm only sleeping. Happy birthday, John. I got to know John during the last weekend. My brothers and I, the Hudson brothers, were signed to Elton John's label. And Elton and Lennon were really great friends. And so when I first met him and stuff, he said I could ask him one Beatle question every time we were together. And if he asked me 2, he would punch me in the head. So the first thing I went like, she's well acquainted with the touch of a velvet hand like a lizard on a window pane. God, that's so deep. And he took a puff and went, it meant nothing. I went, what? He goes, no, it sounded good coming off my tongue. I write in metaphor, Hudson. You make up the meaning. And it crushed me, but it also freed me up to start writing in metaphor and stuff. And I asked him more than one question every time I saw him. So I was punched by John Lennon 4 times. Like, oh.
We hope you've enjoyed all the great messages herein. This is Charles Rosenay from Liverpool Productions. I hope you come on one of our Beatle tours someday. LiverpoolTours.com. Check it out. We want to close with this gentleman who was probably one of the greatest interviewers, greatest talk show hosts. This clip comes courtesy of himself and Martha, his wife. Thank you, Mr. Dick Cavett.
Hi, I'm Dick Cavett. I'm really glad to be part of this celebration of the great John Lennon. I must say that when I first met John, I was nervous. I realized how much I wanted him to like me. And one of our first words were, John, why did you decide to do my show? I'm glad you did. He said, well, you've got the only halfway intelligent talk show on television. And I said, well, why would you want to be on a halfway intelligent talk show? Thank God he laughed. We both laughed. I remember that laugh. I miss John often. I wish he were here to adorn our world with his wit and his great artistry, as we know, his great intelligence, his sunny face when he laughed. He was just delightful. Did I mention that the word that comes to me about meeting John was how accessible he seemed? You felt you knew him right away. So, miss you, John, on this special day. Miss you on all days. John Lennon. He was one of the good guys.